The mysterious death of martial arts icon Bruce Lee at just 32 has left the world in suspense for decades. Rumors circulated that his death was tied to upsetting the triads with his international success in film and martial arts. Close friend and fellow martial artist Chuck Norris remained silent for years, but now, he shares shocking insights that challenge everything we thought we knew. Was Bruce Lee's passing truly a tragic accident, or was there a hidden, darker truth? In the late 1960s, Lee and Norris, both rising stars in martial arts, met at the All-American Karate Open Championship in 1967 at Madison Square Garden, New York. Norris won the event with exceptional skill, while Lee's impressive martial arts demonstration caught Norris's attention. Meeting backstage, they bonded over their shared love for martial arts and recognized a mutual dedication to their craft. This encounter led them to train together in Lee's backyard in Los Angeles, where their friendship and collaboration would forever change martial arts. Lee, who had previously believed kicks should not go above the waist, learned from Norris the importance of versatility. Norris, renowned for his high kicks, showed Lee that aiming for an opponent's head could be highly effective. Accepting this new approach, Lee quickly refined his high-kicking techniques under Norris's guidance. In just 6 months, Lee mastered high kicks that rivaled Norris's own. Norris was equally inspired by Lee's development of Jeet Kune Do, a groundbreaking martial art philosophy that emphasized adaptability, personal expression, and freedom from traditional constraints. Jeet Kune Do, or the way of the intercepting fist, was Lee's vision for a martial art that transcended traditional styles. Drawing from various disciplines like Wing Chun, boxing, fencing, and even dance, Lee designed a system that adapted to individual strengths and focused on practicality. He emphasized simplicity, economy of motion, and directness, which enabled real-world application of martial arts techniques. Known for his speed and power, Lee's punches reached an astounding 85 miles per hour, and his kicks could generate up to 1,800 pounds of force. Lee's journey in martial arts and his impact on combat philosophy continue to resonate globally, inspiring practitioners and fans alike. In 1972, the martial arts and film worlds collided spectacularly with the release of The Way of the Dragon, a cinematic milestone featuring Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. This film, written, directed by, and starring Lee, highlighted not only their impressive martial arts skills but also their growing friendship and mutual respect. The Way of the Dragon, also known as Return of the Dragon in the United States, follows Tang Lung, a young martial artist from Hong Kong, as he travels to Rome to help his friend Chun Xinghua and her uncle Wang, who face threats from a local crime boss attempting to take over their restaurant. Tang Lung uses his kung fu skills to combat the gangsters while experiencing the rich, ancient culture of Rome. With a modest budget of only $130,000, a fraction of typical Hollywood production costs at the time, Lee and his team managed to create a cinematic masterpiece, grossing over $30 million worldwide. This achievement made The Way of the Dragon the highest-grossing film in Hong Kong in 1972, cementing its legacy as one of the most successful martial arts films ever. The movie's lasting appeal stems largely from the iconic fight scene between Lee and Norris at the historic Colosseum in Rome. Choreographed by Lee, the scene is a masterclass in martial arts cinema, contrasting their different fighting styles. Lee's fluidity and speed embody his philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, while Norris's powerful kicks and resilience represent the traditional Tang Soo Do style. Filming this 10-minute, intense fight sequence took 3 grueling days, with both men performing their stunts and sustaining multiple injuries. For Norris, this film marked a turning point, leading to a series of successful action movies like Good Guys Wear Black and The Delta Force in the 1970s and 80s. The experience also strengthened his friendship with Lee, whom he later described as a phenomenon and a genius who deeply impacted his life and career. Decades after Bruce Lee's untimely death, speculation around his sudden passing persists, and Norris recently shared his own theory on the circumstances leading up to it. According to Norris, Lee's relentless pursuit of physical perfection led him down a path of excessive supplementation and extreme physical demands that might have contributed to his death. In 1968, Lee suffered a severe back injury during training, sidelining him and threatening his career. Despite doctors' orders to rest, Lee pushed through intense rehabilitation, incorporating painful exercises and medications for pain management. Over time, he began relying on supplements, herbs, and protein, adopting extreme diets, sometimes consuming up to 10 eggs or 2 pounds of beef in one meal, and drinking large amounts of water daily to flush out toxins. On July 20, 1973, while in Hong Kong working on Game of Death, Lee experienced severe headaches and dizziness, yet he dismissed them as the cost of his intense training regimen. Later, he collapsed in his colleague Betty Ting-pei's apartment and was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. Bruce Lee, the invincible martial arts legend, was dead at 32. The official cause was listed as cerebral edema, or brain swelling. However, Norris believes Lee's combination of medications, supplements, and extreme hydration might have led to his death. While Norris's theory has faced skepticism, for those closest to Lee, it resonates, serving as a reminder of the intense drive that made Lee legendary, as well as the physical toll that drive exacted on his body and mind. The heat stroke theory. In the decades since Bruce Lee's untimely death in 1973, fans and experts alike have grappled with the question of what could have caused the sudden and tragic loss of one of the world's most iconic martial artists. The official cause of death, listed as cerebral edema, has long been the subject of speculation and debate. However, in recent years, a new theory has emerged, offering a compelling alternative explanation for Lee's passing. This theory, put forth by Lee's biographer, Matthew Polly, in his book Bruce Lee, A Life, suggests that the true cause of Lee's death may have been heatstroke rather than cerebral edema. Drawing on extensive research and interviews with those who knew Lee best, Polly presents a case that sheds new light on the final days of the martial arts legend. At the heart of Polly's theory is the fact that Lee had undergone a controversial operation a few years before his death to remove his sweat glands. The procedure, done for cosmetic reasons to prevent Lee from sweating on camera, had a significant impact on his body's ability to regulate its temperature. Without the ability to sweat, Lee faced a higher risk of overheating, especially in the hot and humid climate of Hong Kong, where he was living and working. This risk was compounded by Lee's intense training regimen, which often involved hours of strenuous exercise in the heat. Polly points to an incident a few months before Lee's death when the martial artist collapsed during a dubbing session for Enter the Dragon. At the time, doctors diagnosed Lee with cerebral edema, but Polly suggests this might have been an early warning sign of heatstroke. On the day of his death, Lee was in Hong Kong, working on Game of Death. The temperature that day reached a sweltering 90 degrees Fahrenheit, with high humidity levels that made it feel even hotter. Lee had been complaining of headaches and dizziness but brushed them off as part of his intense training regimen. According to Polly's theory, the combination of the heat, Lee's lack of sweat glands, and his use of painkillers and tranquilizers ultimately proved fatal. Lee had taken a pill containing aspirin and meprobamate, a common tranquilizer, before lying down to rest in the apartment of his colleague Betty Ting-pei. However, instead of providing relief, the medication might have masked the symptoms of heatstroke, making it harder for Lee to recognize the danger he was in. As Lee lay in bed, his body temperature continued to rise, putting increasing strain on his organs and brain. By the time he was found and rushed to the hospital, it was too late. Despite doctors' best efforts, Lee slipped into a coma and died shortly after. Polly's theory has received both praise and skepticism from experts. Some have hailed it as a groundbreaking explanation, potentially providing closure for fans and admirers who have long wondered about the true cause of his death. Others have criticized it as speculative and lacking hard evidence. The Triads Theory. In the years following Bruce Lee's sudden and tragic death, countless theories emerged, attempting to explain the mysterious circumstances surrounding his untimely demise. Although the official cause of death was listed as cerebral edema, some believe more sinister forces may have been involved, such as the notorious Hong Kong criminal organization, the Triads. The Triads, often referred to as the Chinese Mafia, are known throughout Southeast Asia for their involvement in various illegal activities, including drug trafficking, prostitution, and gambling. Over the years, the Triads have also been linked to numerous high-profile murders and assassinations, often targeting individuals who threaten their power and influence. Some theories suggest that Bruce Lee, a rising star in martial arts and cinema, may have become a target. Lee had grown into a cultural icon and a symbol of Chinese pride, with his films resonating worldwide, often portraying rebellion against oppression and corruption. But Lee's fame and influence also made him a threat to those who sought to control the Hong Kong film industry, possibly leading to Triad resentment. Another theory posits that Lee's outspoken nature and refusal to compromise with corrupt forces may have made him a target of Triad leaders. Known for his criticisms of injustice and unwillingness to submit to underhanded demands, Lee reportedly refused to pay protection money, a common practice in Hong Kong at the time. His stance could have marked him as a target for retaliation. The most chilling aspect of the triads theory involves the mysterious martial arts technique known as dim mak, or the death touch. According to legend, dim mak is a strike targeting specific pressure points, potentially causing delayed but lethal damage to internal organs. Some theorists speculate that the triads could have used a master of this technique to harm Lee, either as a warning or a means to remove him from the public eye. Despite the rumors and speculation, no one has ever been charged or convicted in connection with Lee's death, leaving the true circumstances uncertain. The Lee family curse, legacy of tragedy and superstition. The sudden and tragic deaths of Bruce Lee and his son Brandon, both at the peak of their careers and both under mysterious circumstances, have long been subjects of speculation and rumor among fans and admirers of this iconic martial arts family. For some, the explanation for these untimely losses lies not in the physical realm but in the spiritual, a powerful curse said to have haunted the Lee family for generations. The origins of the Lee family curse are shrouded in mystery and legend, with some tracing it back to the Tang dynasty in ancient China over 1,000 years ago. According to one version, a powerful warlord named Li Keong, forced to flee after a conflict with the emperor, was cursed by a sorcerer who vowed that no male descendant would live past age 18. Another legend dates the curse to the Song dynasty when a corrupt magistrate, Li Shimon, allegedly cursed his family with an early death and a lack of male heirs. Regardless of origin, the idea of a family curse holds weight in Chinese culture, where ancestral lineage and family continuity are deeply revered. For the Lee family, this curse seemed to manifest as a series of tragic deaths spanning generations. Bruce Lee's grandfather and great-grandfather reportedly died young, as did his father. Born in the year of the dragon and the hour of the dragon, Bruce was marked as a powerful figure. As he gained fame, rumors of the family curse resurfaced, with some suggesting his success angered the spirits haunting his family. When Bruce died suddenly, his passing was viewed as confirmation of the curse's power, despite the official cause of death being listed as cerebral edema. Brandon Lee, a second generation struck by misfortune. Brandon Lee, Bruce's son, seemed destined to continue his father's legacy. He pursued acting and martial arts under the mentorship of his father's friend, Chuck Norris, emerging as a talented actor and martial artist. But Brandon's life, like his father's, was cut short at the height of his career. On March 31, 1993, while filming The Crow, Brandon was accidentally shot with a prop gun loaded with live ammunition. He was rushed to the hospital but died at age 28. Brandon's death shocked the world and further fueled belief in the Lee family curse, especially given the eerie similarities between his and Bruce's untimely passings. Many theories arose to explain Brandon's death, with some attributing it to the family curse, others to negligence on the film set, and still others to possible foul play. Regardless of the cause, another member of the Lee family was gone too soon, leaving a legacy of potential and a family doubly struck by tragedy. Beyond martial arts, Bruce Lee's philosophical and artistic pursuits. Bruce Lee is famous for his martial arts skills and groundbreaking films, but his interests went far beyond just fighting. Lee was a philosophical thinker, drawing inspiration from a range of sources, including ancient Eastern wisdom and Western existentialism. Throughout his life, he studied philosophy, psychology, and drama, seeking to understand the human condition and the nature of reality. His library included works by thinkers such as Alan Watts, Carl Jung, and Friedrich Nietzsche. Lee's philosophy emphasized flexibility, adaptability, and self-expression, viewing martial arts not just as self-defense but as a path to personal discovery and liberation. This approach influenced every aspect of his life, and he encouraged his students to challenge authority and follow their own paths. Additionally, Lee was a poet whose introspective writings offered glimpses into his inner world and constant quest for self-understanding. Though the mysteries of Bruce Lee's life and death may never be entirely solved, his legacy as a cultural icon, philosopher, and artist will endure for generations to come.